podcast where we willingly watch the world's worst rated movies. And we've got a special episode today. For those that don't know, every year, I say every year, we've only done one so far, but we do a special episode when everyone else is talking about the Oscars. We're talking about the awards that matter, the Razzies. It's just the original crew today. So for any new listeners, my name is Daisy, and as always, I'm joined by podcast co-extraordinaire in every sense of the matter. I just turn up. She does everything else. It's Claire. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. I'm not sure that we can say that these awards matter. I'm not sure.
Oh no, that was pure sarcasm. I've already drunk a glass of Prosecco, so
yeah, this is also a drunk pod. So yeah, I'm good. I finished work today, and now I have a 5-day bank holiday weekend for St. Patrick's Day. So I am drinking, and I've got to somehow edit this between all the drinking over 5 days.
while still drinking.
Yeah.
Ireland on St. Patrick's Day, what a place to be.
I know, it's exciting.
All I can think about is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which isn't actually based in Ireland, but they've got their Paddy's pub, so
I've already had a Shamrock Shake. I know what I'm doing.
Lovely stuff.
But yeah, so this episode will be going out in 2.5 days time.
So first episode we've done where we've recorded, edited and released in the same week. Will Claire regret this decision? We shall see, because we've got some good news to share. Claire, do you want to tell us what it is?
I think most people who follow us on Twitter will have already seen, but a couple of weeks ago we got named British Podcast of the Week, thanks to the wonderful Film Stories and the host of Verbal Diorama, who does a weekly podcast recommendation. So thank you, and thank you, Simon Brew. Thank you to my mum for thinking it's like the only time I've ever made her proud, which was a bit weird. She even listened to an episode.
The worst one.
She listened to the disaster movie episode and got
confused.
I thought
she listened to 365 Days.
No, she didn't. She got confused. She listened to disaster movie.
Divine Intervention, I would say.
She also got confused because at one point I think Petros mentioned There Will Be Blood when we were just talking about, other films. And so then my mum, I think, thought that all of the movies that we referenced within Disaster Movie were also on the list. So she was like, oh, I'll listen to the There Will Be Blood episode. I was like, no, that's a good movie. So I don't think...
no. Like, I don't... You know when some people confuse themselves so much, you're like, how did you get there?
Yeah.
I would love to have taken a trip with you. Because I don't get it.
Thank you to Em. Thank you to my mum. Thank you to everyone else who listened.
This is like an acceptance speech, and I'm 100% here for it.
Yeah, it's awards season, baby.
Thank you to everyone who made this possible. You like us. You really like us.
And everyone just turned off and deleted the episode.
Nah. I reckon we can push the boundaries a little bit before we start really pissing people off. I think we're, as Em said, we're charming, so we can probably
wonderful and wise.
So many W words.
So many W's.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Em. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's a big shout out to Em and Film Stories there. And thank you. That was a lovely positive note, but...
Oh, can I also say a positive? Because this is our first, live time I'm currently winning Daisy versus Claire. Because we do our top threes at the end of every episode, but we never reference them again because we record so far in advance.
You're right.
We can't
need to know
bring them up.
What is going on. Tell us more. So this is a total running
of every episode released so far. I know I'm winning, only by 1 point.
So we've got the scores on the doors and everything.
Yeah, so it is Claire 8, Daisy 7.
Oh my god, that's so close.
And what I will say, apart from, I think there was a couple of weeks where one of us was up by about 3.
I feel like it was very much like one of us would go for a couple of weeks,
yeah,
and then the next one would go for a couple of weeks.
We've almost always been,
a horse race.
So we have equal. So thank you to everyone that votes, especially the people that comment on it as well. That's always really nice, and the people that share.
We love to hear that because it's so interesting to see how everyone's sort of likes and tastes differ, because obviously it's easy to see what we have in common, and then it comes down to our top threes, which we pit against each other. But there's so many different combinations that people come up with and say, oh, this one's just hedged it for me, and
or
you
I
know,
would
I
have
love,
voted, but you
I
put
would have,
that film, and I'll
yeah.
never vote for that film.
It's just a great start of a conversation to have with you guys. So thanks for always engaging in that, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more where that came from in future episodes. I'm excited for the top three for this one. I had a bit of a
I'm already
brainwave.
I'm so confused about it. I've got a list.
Righty ho. Shall we kick this off, because I feel like once this Pandora's box is open,
so I'll do a mini kick-off.
Go on.
We are talking about the Razzies. We know that the Razzies are quite controversial. Lots of people hate them. We did discuss all of this in our Razzies 2021 episode.
So be sure to check that out.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the history of the Razzies. We're not going to talk about the controversy. It's all there. We discussed it all then. So if you've never listened to us before and you're just here for the first time today, you probably were really bored by the first bit of this episode. But also listen to the Razzies 2021 episode for, I think it was like History Corner with Claire.
It was great. Yeah. I loved it. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So you've gone away. You've listened to the other episode, or you're a big fan and you already listened to the other episode and you know what the hell the Razzies are all about. So let's get stuck in to the 2020. Well, it's to the 2021 Razzies.
It's the 2022 Razzies.
Well, it's the 2022 Razzies, but it's for films in 2021. So is that? Okay, is that how it works?
I've made the episode title and the logo already, and it's called the 2022 Razzie Awards.
I'm not going to argue with that because that makes sense. Either way, it's the 42nd Golden Raspberry Awards. And the way we're going to do this is what we did last year, and we're going to focus on there are some worst content. What did I say? Worst offenders on this list. Just as a side note on this, I do feel like it's a little bit lazy of the Razzies. I feel like they pick a few films to pick on and then kind of just go, yeah, stick them in every category.
You said the exact same thing last year, and I challenged it with the thing that I'm about to say now.
Go on.
Which is, that's all award shows. That's not just the Razzies.
That's true.
Every single award show.
Okay, yeah, I'm back in the room. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Do you know why I say that, Claire, and I never remember? It's because I don't pay attention to awards at all. So, apologies.
I love a good awards. I voted in 2 this year. I've watched like 3 shows. I love awards.
No, that would be great if I got to vote in them.
And you can hear me on the Dan and Joe film show sometime this week on their Oscar special. Returning guest Claire. I did their special last year. Doing it again this year. And they are future guests of our show.
Get a woman who can do both. Razzies and Oscars.
Woo!
What about the mediocre stuff, Claire? You've got to make sure everyone's catered for.
That's my letterbox. I do a yearly ranking. There's some mediocre as fuck stuff in my top 30.
Brilliant. In the spirit of looking at the worst offenders first, shall we dive in to the film with the most amount of awards? So this film has a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 nominations this year out of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 categories. So you could say, and they're not eligible for one of the categories.
So I'm guessing this one doesn't star Bruce Willis.
And you know what? I really feel like that's where it's been let down. So you could say it's a full sweep. It's Diana the Musical. Claire, did you know about Diana the Musical?
Daisy, you know my feelings on Diana the Musical because I texted you after I watched it.
We broke the rules. We don't usually talk about the films we're going to talk about on the podcast, but
I cried a lot during Diana the Musical. Diana the Musical was one of the most fun watching experiences I have had in a really long time.
I kind of wish I'd bookended it because it's the first one that I watched because I went down. I never thought I would make it to the end. Can we just do a quick side note again? Me and Claire have watched every single film nominated for Razzies this year. We didn't do it last year. We covered as much as we could. But this year we planned a bit better. We knew what we were up against. Well, arguably. And we managed to watch how many films? 22. Both of us 22. Yeah. None of them together, so all on our own schedules. And that was a film I watched at the beginning, and by the time I've got to the end, I really wish I had the time and the energy to watch that
And
again to bring my spirits back up.
I feel like that was my fault because I wrote the spreadsheet of what all the films were based on what streaming services they were, and I started with Netflix, and Diana was the top of the list, and I think we both very instinctively
I
just went
actually
there
went
first.
through. So I went through based on like the literal order of like how they're
Most
listed.
noms,
So like
yeah.
like the chances are that the worst pictures are first, and then by the time we get down to the special category, which we'll talk about later. But then I did it like what was free to watch, then rent, then not available. So but yeah, Diana the musical. I could not wait to kick off the Razzie season watching this because I just thought, how absurd, how camp, let's do it. And I was not disappointed. What a ride.
I loved it. I loved every fucking minute of it.
Did you love it? Did you love it sincerely though? Or did
you
you love it ironically?
So no, I love musical theatre. I fucking love musical theatre. So I was in. I was so hooked. The tunes are so good. Like, the music is genuinely brilliant.
I can't lie, it's pretty good.
It's catchy as fuck.
Yeah, and, like, I mean, I can't remember them now, but I happily listen to them again.
Yeah, like, I loved it. I loved it unironically. I will watch it again. I am gutted I didn't get to see it live. I genuinely am upset.
Is it only on Broadway? Or?
It's not even on Broadway anymore. Yeah,
wow.
it was.
But I read that this was a promotional exercise in
I think
before it came out.
COVID kind of destroyed it as well, though. But yeah, no, it's completely shut. It's not running anymore, which is a shame. And if anyone does a revival, I would like to go. Yeah, I mean, do you want my take on whether this should be nominated or not?
I think let's quickly run through the nominations.
Yes.
Because I think we should talk about it overall, because it is nominated for Worst Picture. It's also nominated for Worst Director, who is Christopher Ashley. It's nominated for did I say actor? Worst Director, Christopher Ashley. Worst Actor, Roe Hartranft as Prince Charles. Hartranft.
Like a horse.
I don't even know how to say the woman's name. Gianna Devoir as Princess Diana. Gareth Keegan as James Hewitt, the muscle-bound horse trainer, for Worst Supporting Actor. Worst Supporting Actress, we've got 2 here, but 3 roles. Erin Davey as Camilla Parker Bowles. Yes, she is featured heavily in this musical. Judy Kay as both Queen Elizabeth II and Barbara Cartland. We've got Worst Screen Combo of any klutzy cast member in any lamely lyricised or choreographed musical number, and also Worst Screenplay, script by Joe DiPetrio, music and lyrics by David Bryan. Oh, I know someone called David Bryan. I wonder if it's him. Probably isn't. And DiPetrio as well. So, I mean, they've basically covered all bases there. Everything about it they hate.
Yeah.
Why?
Why do they hate? Why do they hate Joy? I'm sorry, it's joyous. I
was about to say that. Why do they hate Joy?
Like, it's so much fun. Like, yeah, I get it. Like,
it's absurd, really. It's absurd.
It's absurd, but like, especially like, I'm sorry, Judy Kay. Right, my only thing that I didn't particularly love about it was the Barbara Cartland character. I could have just taken or left her, but Judy Kay, who played her, and Queen Elizabeth, her portrayal of Queen Elizabeth, like, had my heart. I was so invested. I was like so pleased about, like, I always think it's really lovely. Like with Spencer. Is the film The Queen the one about the weekend where Princess Diana died? Is that the one?
I have no idea. I've not seen any of these. I'm not interested in the royals whatsoever.
I'm not interested in the royals at all. I come from an Irish family who are actively almost anti-royal, but they're also like, my dad is massive history nut, and so he was like only interested in it. I find it
really interesting. I have to say, watching this, I then sort of like looked at pictures of those moments and gone, trying to connect the dots and everything.
It's one of those things that, people always say, like, what's the first historical moment you remember? And for most people around our age, it's normally 9/11. This reminded me that, no, for me, it was Princess Diana dying. I remember the day Princess Diana died. It helps the day after my birthday. So it is like a weekend that I remember. But it was like the whole we only had 4 channels at the time, but like the whole of television just stopped. It was just wall-to-wall news, everything on the paper, and it was really tragic. And so, like, to go back to my earlier point, the thing that I love is that in all of these pieces of media, the Queen is always portrayed as though stern and distancing and withholding, kind. It never seems like that the Queen had a problem with Diana. She just had a problem with the circus around Diana. Whereas like Charles is always portrayed as appalling. Camilla is often played as appalling, and it kind of chimes in with like the Harry and Meghan Oprah interview. He really like went in on how much he loves his grandmother, the Queen, like, and how kind she was, and how much Meghan loves her, and the connection that she and Meghan have. And I just like to hope that some of that is not just she's the Queen and we all need to talk nice about her because of treason, but I like to hope that, like, I mean, I don't think you're meant to like openly like detract. Yeah. So fuck knows what happens when Charles gets in charge, because we all hate him. But yeah, I thought it was lovely, and I felt everyone in it was really human, and it just really worked for me, and I loved it, and I will watch it again. And I've rambled and spoke really fast.
I really, really want us to do like a watch party, but like I say watch party, I want us to watch it as like a group watch in real life. Like, I feel like it would be really fun to do that. It's kind of a shame that I know the whole point of it is that it's a stage musical adaptation, but I kind of feel like I wish it was a bit more of an actual film musical, because I, number one, prefer those, and number two, feel like I wanted more from it. And it was limited by that, but I get the whole point is that it's a film stage musical.
And that is my biggest issue with this whole nomination, this whole thing.
It shouldn't even be in here.
It's not a fucking film! It is a recorded live performance. It's Hamilton all over again. Hamilton should never have won a single a single award as a movie. It is a recorded live event. So yeah, you get a nomination for like live event, for the direction of the live event. But yeah, it's not a fucking film. Why is it nominated in film awards?
Yeah, you can't compare them. It's
a completely different art form.
Yeah. I mean, I get performances, like I understand that, even if they are different modes.
Yeah.
But it's, the whole saying it's a film and, you know, comparing it to some other films and you just can't really. Yeah. But for the purposes of this, I was in one of those things where I think if I eventually gave myself into it. At first I sat down, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a big joke. I'm going to hate this, because I'm not a musical theatre person, but I like musicals. I'm a film musical person. I really struggle with overacting. That's not fair. I struggle with onstage acting because it has to be bigger.
Yeah.
And sometimes it grates on me. Like, I really don't like I didn't like Wicked. For that reason. But then there are plenty of other plays and musicals that I've seen that don't have that style of acting, so it's not as bit generic for me to say. I actually didn't mind the acting this. I think it suited it. I think it was enough, and I don't know if this was actually filmed to an audience because it was pre-release, so I wonder if that was maybe slightly different. Maybe it was toned down a little bit because they know they were playing more to a camera.
Maybe.
Potentially. But yeah, once I gave in and was like, actually, like, I'm having quite a good time. I was actually really invested, and I really liked the woman that played Diana.
I thought she was brilliant.
Gianna Duvall. I think she was great. Like, I didn't really think the other cast members stood out, but I thought
Camilla was quite good.
Camilla was good. Yeah, actually, Camilla was good. So who's that?
But then she had the best character. Like, her character had the most to do.
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't have like pulled out Prince Charles and James Stewart as bad, but I definitely don't think there are anything to write home about. But no, this was definitely the women's moment in this. But yeah, it's just, if you lean into it, like, I think because it was the first one I was watching, I couldn't get past the absurdity of this idea of they've made a musical about this, and I was like, is this a bit tasteless, or is this a lot tasteless? But then again, I'm like look at the world we live in. Like, in a way, I'm like, I think it goes full circle, and it actually is probably a lot better than other forms of media that are out there about her that claim to be very factual and claim to be, doing the right thing and stuff, when actually they're just delving further and further and further into private matters, whereas this is very much focused on what happened in public.
They
Well,
turned her into a girl boss.
she girl boss too close to the sun. There was lots of gatekeeping at Buckingham Palace.
There was.
Lots of gaslighting too. But yeah, no, I think it was quite. I ended up thinking it was quite sweet. I ended up really liking the music. I thought
I ended up crying.
Super camp. And yeah, I ended up living for it. And I ended up going, do you know what? I actually really want to watch that again. Now I know. Now I've given myself into it. I kind of just want to enjoy it and not have this sort of guard up and be like, oh, this is so silly and absurd. And now I'm like, yeah. And that's why it's great. So, I get why they've nominated this. But number one, you shouldn't have nominated it anyway because it ain't a film. And number two, you're wrong because it's a lot of fun. And, this is a perfect example of these kinds of awards, like just taking themselves too seriously and taking the industry too seriously and just...
And what we'll maybe talk about it more towards the end, but there are only really two types of films nominated this year. Films aimed at women that clearly men watched and didn't like, and action films. And nothing in between.
The films that men watch that they usually like, but these were crap. Yeah, you make a good point. Anything more to say about Diana? Because although they've got a lot of nominations, they were really quite repetitive, these nominations. You've basically nominated the whole cast. You've nominated the direction, how it's a stage musical.
And it was really well directed for a stage musical.
Precisely. And obviously worst picture, and then just basically having another dig at the script and the music and lyrics. And
the music and lyrics were so clever and so fun and so catchy. They were absurd. They were absurd. But watch any modern stage musical or stage music. Yeah, they are absurd. Like, it's very rare that you see a new musical that isn't absolutely bonkers.
I'd rather watch something absurd and be like, what? I'm like, I don't know how to think about this, but I'm kind of living for it. Yeah. Than watch something super boring and be like, oh, done to death. You know? So I think we can agree that this number one, it shouldn't be on the list for many reasons. I don't think we'll be saying that for many of the others, though. So, moving on from Diana, I think we should talk about Woman in the Window next, because I personally really liked this.
Did you?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Well, I was really intrigued. I was really engaged. I feel like I haven't... See, the thing is, I'm always watching stuff for the podcast, other podcasts, or, I don't know, somehow watching things and never really getting to the things that, like, although they're not the most popular or the most highly rated, that I actually am interested in watching. I spend too long worrying about, well, not worrying, but like being like, oh, I should watch this because this is popular and people don't want it, rather than just go, oh, I'm really intrigued about that. And this was one I was really intrigued about. I really like Amy Adams. I like a mystery. It was just perfect for an after work film. I was chilled out. I didn't expect what happened in it. And I just thought, I think I'd watched one of the other Razzies before this, which was so bad. So bad. I was so relieved to watch something that was coherent, for one. And number two, that I didn't sort of expect what was happening. I haven't read the book. I just thought it was quite a nice little thriller, and I enjoyed it. I just, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily sing its praises, but I just thought it was nice little genre flick for what it is. But please do tell me more about why you disagree, so that I can potentially understand a little bit more about why it's bad.
I just felt it was really poorly made.
Really?
I found the editing... No, there were two films that I found the editing aggressive. The other film, the aggressive was more... I found this one very poorly edited.
I loved the editing on this.
That's like, really interesting.
What, like,
it just didn't work for me.
When it was like, oh, there was parts of like her imagination and her memory as part of the actual...
No, I didn't mind that. I just thought it was edited badly and filmed badly.
Oh,
I genuinely felt like it was shoddily made. So the director Joe Wright, who did Atonement and Pride and Prejudice and
Anna
out in cinemas at the
Karenina.
moment, Cyrano, Anna Karenina. So I was
Oh, he
really
did Serena.
surprised.
Okay. Yeah, he has a niche, and this is not it.
Well, this is nice, but then he has a niche in doing book adaptations, and this is a
Fine.
book. So
Okay.
even though it's a modern book, so yeah, he has a history of adapting books, even though this is a modern book. But yeah, this one was a real sad one for me because it was one of those ones that I think it's sad it's been nominated for Razzies, but I don't disagree that it is a poorly made movie with a good budget, with a good director, with a brilliant cast. Like
I feel like the
Julianne
cast are
Moore.
wasted.
Yeah, Julianne Moore and Amy
Massively.
Adams are wonderful, and even who's the bloke that lives downstairs? It's what's his face's son.
Oh, something Russell.
Yeah, Kurt Russell. No, Kurt Russell's the dad. Kyle Russell. Ryan Russell. Wyatt Russell.
Yeah, he's brilliant in everything.
Yeah,
great.
So it has a wonderful, wonderful cast. I just felt like watching it, I felt like they didn't know what they were doing and they chickened out, and it felt very much like an interfered with movie.
Oh, okay.
Now, I did also know going into it that there were a lot of issues with this movie, because when I was writing for Film Stories, I did a little bit when the trailer came out. I wrote about the trailer coming out and I looked into the film. It was originally a 20th Century Fox film that when Disney bought Fox, they didn't know what to do with.
Okay.
It kept getting delayed and delayed, and eventually they dumped it and sold it to Netflix. So it was meant to come out like 2 years ago rather than last year. It was meant to come out a long time ago. It was meant to be a cinema release. It was delayed before the pandemic, and then it was delayed again because of the pandemic. And Disney Fox, whatever they are, didn't want it and sold it to Netflix to get rid. And it had been long rumoured to be a bad film and being buried. So I did know that going into it. And then what I actually, very strangely today, an article came across my Twitter feed of Joe Wright talking to Vulture about Cyrano and The Woman in the Window. And he has said the film that was released is not the film he made. It was he made a completely different film that was really dark, really mad, really insane. Amy Adams is like nasty and gritty. There's like a whole subplot.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see how it's been softened massively.
Yeah, there's like a whole subplot where she goes downstairs and she like fucks Wyatt Russell, who lives downstairs, which is also why some of their anonymity, because that was also not anonymity, some of their hostility towards each other.
Tension, like
because there was so much aggression in the film that just everyone was angry all the time, and it was never quite explained.
It wasn't tangible, though. Yeah, it was very much like, oh, this person's angry.
Yeah, and why?
We didn't ever know why. Like, I get it. We understood in the context, but there was no real character.
Yeah, and there was a lot of summing up in that final act. There was a lot of like telling us rather than showing us in the final act.
That's very true. That is very, very true.
So it's a really interesting, it's a Vulture article. I'll see if I can remember to link it when we drop the episode. But he basically said like the film was he did really dark, really gritty, really intense, nasty film that was meant to be like really hostile, which I think is more in line with the book. And then the studio took it away. And then it tested really badly, and so then they just kept cutting it and editing it and cutting it and editing it and changing the colour grading and throwing in this. And he has said like he doesn't recognise the film that was released, and he's like, I've taken it on the chin, it's what you learn. He was like, I wanted to go in and do something really different, and obviously a big studio giving you that much money doesn't want that. They want you to give them something that they can put a neat bow on and sell to women in book clubs and make money, whereas he wanted to do something. And it did feel like that, and I felt sorry for him reading that article, and it made more sense about why it's such a bad film. With that calibre of cast, with that calibre of people behind the camera, it should be so much better than what it is, and it felt cheap watching it. It didn't feel not as cheap as some other films we're going to talk about.
It was meant to be like a cinema release, and I'm just thinking it was like a really well made Netflix original. Like, I didn't really know much about the book or anything like that, so just having a bit more context, I can see how it's like a bit of a missed opportunity.
So it's
like
a shame.
Gary Oldman is so wasted. Like, why did they even have him in the cast? Because I feel like it was just a waste of his paycheck.
And that's
he was in like 3 scenes, like not even that, and he was barely in them. Like,
but it felt like that with almost everyone. It felt like everyone was barely there. Like,
I feel like Julianne Moore and made a really big impression.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what's the other woman's name that plays the real wife?
Oh, what is her name? I can't remember.
Janet Jason Leigh. Oh, she was like. I
Yeah.
get that her character's meant to be a bit like, oh, I'm the actual wife, and then you don't really know anything about her, so it's to keep the mystery. But yeah, I don't know. I can see that. By the way, we haven't actually mentioned what it's nominated for.
So that's what I'm just looking up to see. So it's nominated
worst
for.
picture,
Mm-hmm.
worst director Joe Wright, Amy Adams as Dr. Anna Fox, and then also nominated for worst prequel, remake, rip-off, or sequel as a rip-off of Rear Window.
Mm-hmm. So like I'd agree with half of them. I don't agree with Amy Adams' nomination.
No.
I don't think she's giving it her best work, but then also we don't know how much was left on the cutting room floor, so the bits that seem kind of out of line probably make sense. What the version of the film that I watched, I would agree with worst director. Now knowing that that's not the film that he directed, it's
Yeah.
hard to say I agree with that, but I can also understand the nomination because watching it, I felt like it was really poorly directed.
I also want to add that I'm very susceptible to expectations. So if I expect something to be bad and it's not, whoosh,
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah.
And the opposite way round. Because this is nominated for a Razzie, I think I enjoyed it so much more because I don't necessarily feel like it should be nominated for it. I think if it had been in the context of, oh, this is pretty below average, this isn't what people, this isn't really true to the book, this isn't the director's vision, this was delayed and chucked on Netflix, and it's not anyone's best work, I probably would have maybe agreed. But I think because it's been nominated for a Razzie, I'm like, how dare you? I actually enjoyed it.
I also feel bad for the remake award, like for being a rip-off of Rear Window, only because
it's a book adaptation, so you can't blame it for.
There's like 100 million rip-offs of Rear Window, and this is by far not the worst. I've seen far worse rip-offs.
You can't really just like lay claim to a plot device. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't say that Alfred Hitchcock owns people staring out of windows.
He also owns birds and people getting murdered in showers.
I mean, the murdered in showers one, I will give him. I will give him that. And I will give him the toilet flushing, because that was the first time it was ever done on film. So you can have that, Hitchcock. You're welcome.
If you want to know more about my feelings on Hitchcock, listen to the Binge Movies episode I did on Last Movie Standing.
Hitchcock as well, do you?
I have mid feelings about Hitchcock depending on the movie.
I can't keep up with everybody. There's so much controversiality in all of this.
I was asked to talk about Vertigo in that episode,
and I haven't seen Vertigo.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the one for me. Rear Window, though, is great. Cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. Rear Window, do love.
Yeah, Rear Window's great. Okay, cool. I mean, I don't really have too much more to say about that because it was one of the first films that I've watched, and that was 6 weeks ago. So, right. So the next 5 nominated film
surprisingly another female-led film, but
this one deserves it.
Yeah. What is it, Daisy?
It's Karen.
Woo.
And what's Karen about, Claire? Tell us more about Karen.
Karen is about a Karen. For those of you that aren't down with the kids and don't go on Urban Dictionary all the time, a Karen is a specific type of white woman who complains a lot and goes to speak to the manager, and has become more synonymous with being super racist or just prejudiced, and kind of wanting things that, like, kind of white privilege. That's a really poor explanation of a Karen, but I think you all know what a Karen is.
Bases.
And if you don't know what a Karen is, maybe you might be a Karen.
if you can't recognise a Karen around you, then you are the Karen. I feel like Karen has, it used to be a very much, I need to speak to the manager, and now it's gone full-fledged like white supremacists. Yeah. There's something along the way here, and I think the sort of the catalyst of that, which is what this film's loosely based on, is that viral video that came out of that woman calling the police on a black gentleman in Central Park claiming that he was attacking her when he was just jogging in the area and she was out with her dog, I think, or he was
Yeah.
out with his dog.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like an actual video of it, and it's all, you know, completely untrue. When, you know, it went viral, and as far as I'm aware, she like lost her job, you know,
Mm-hmm. And
and got
they basically
ramifications
do
for
a
that.
shot-for-shot remake of that scene in this film.
Basically, yeah. And so this is a BET original film, which is interesting. I've never, obviously, we don't have that channel over here. I don't know how much. I
I
don't
think
think
we
I
did
would
at
have
one
seen
point.
any. Huh?
I think we did have that channel at one point, but
Do we?
like
It's very American,
lost in the back of like Freeview land.
right? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if you've got the full Sky package, maybe you have it.
Yeah,
But
like if you've got the full
it's
Sky package, it's
very,
like $3.50 or
it's
something.
very much an American channel. I don't really know what else they have on there, but they've like parodied it on Atlanta. If you've seen Atlanta, which is kind of all I really know about it. But I'm aware of its purpose and like what kind of like programming it has, and it's interesting from a black owned and sort of like black targeted channel that they've done this sort of like racist villain horror film essentially.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but also it's a bit like, I can't comment because I'm not that demographic, but it just feels a little bit odd as well, don't you think?
I found it very strange watching it because I wasn't sure what the purpose of the film was.
Yeah.
Was it meant to be funny? Was it meant to be scary?
Because
Was
if it
it
was
meant
like a
to be
satire, like Get
yeah,
Out.
was it meant to be satire or was it meant to be social commentary? Was it meant to be a mix? And it was very difficult. I only found like 3, and again, I will try and remember to post the links, but I tried to find reviews from black critics about what they thought about this film because, like I said, we are 2 white women in England, so we don't have the greatest context for this kind of film. Well, I'm not even in England, I'm in Ireland. What a liar. I'm from England. So the few that I found all rated it really poorly, but a couple of them kind of said what I think I found when I was watching it is that there is a good film within this film.
Yeah.
If you had a tighter script or a stronger director, there could be a really good film in this film. It has some interesting things to say. It just doesn't have the right people saying them
very, very badly.
Yeah.
Very bad, very on the nose. And the reason I was a bit like, I'm a bit surprised by, you know, where it's coming from and who it's targeting is just because, like, even from an outsider's perspective, it feels really pandering.
Yeah.
It feels very much like, oh, we know you're always in this situation. We want to, you know, we know this is basically a horror film, so we're going to make it a horror film. But it goes so the wrong way, because you're right. Because if they did it like Get Out, where we're like, this is the black experience, and we're going to show you that, and for black audiences they're like, oh my god, I felt that, I feel this every day, but it's done in a bit more of a conceptual way, and even then people who are outside of that community can say, oh god, I was placed in that and understood a bit more about how that makes people feel. This was just straight up, we know people are racist, so we're just going to show someone being racist for 90 minutes.
The most racist a racist person could be.
Yeah. And it was just like, that's all it ended up being. So you're right, it didn't really bring anything in terms of an art form. But what I will say is, it's the first Hallmark horror film I've ever watched.
What I would say is, like, some of the reviews that I read kind of mentioned things like that like, about it being so pandering and horror, it's like, it's full, even though it comes from a black director who I think he also wrote it.
Let's have a quick look at the nominations. So worst picture, worst director Coke Daniels, worst actress Taryn Manning, and worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel as an inadvertent remake of Cruella. Can you explain that to me? I don't get it. How is this anything like Cruella?
I don't really. I mean, I don't think she wanted to skin them.
I don't get that.
I don't understand that. No, I don't understand it either. Yeah, it was written and directed by Coke Daniels, so he's nominated for worst director. And so, like, he is a black man, but some of the reviews again that I read from these black critics, like, the stereotypes, even though they're coming from a black writer, are still harmful, and what it runs the risk of, because like, the people, the reviews I read, they're like, we do see these experiences, and you're able to say, yeah, I have lived through someone doing that, and it is laughable, but also what it runs the risk of doing is turning a very real threat in
Yeah.
people's everyday lives into a joke. And
Yes.
for a lot of people, it's not a joke.
No.
As funny and laughable as this film might be, it isn't. It's hard because we make comedies about so many things.
But I think it's like, if it's so on
It's a
the
bad
nose and
comedy.
in your
Yeah.
face, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have anything, any layers to it and any
Yeah.
subtext, and it's literally just, we are copying what is happening. Right. This is just a really terrible example, but say, like, well, okay, the Don't Look Up. Me and you don't
Mm-hmm.
like it, but it's a satire about the end of the world
Mm.
and bad government and all of this, which is happening in real life, and it was very scary when Donald Trump was in
Yeah.
presidency. But we can look at it and see the absurdity. And no, I don't think that's a great example, because I think that wasn't done very well. But
Mm-hmm.
you can take a horrible situation, see the absurdity of it, make light of it in a satire and
Mm-hmm.
a comedic way, like what I said before, Get Out. Like,
And
there are
there were
moments of
humorous
levity
elements
in
in Get
that.
Out. Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
moments
Yeah.
of levity in that. There are moments of absurdity, but
Mm-hmm.
it all funnels down to the underlying message of, this is a representation of stuff that actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
The fear you feel watching this, no matter what race you are, is
Mm-hmm.
how people feel.
Yeah.
Whereas this didn't amount to anything. It was just, oh hey, remember that thing that happened in Central Park? We're gonna riff on that. It was kind of just like, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna ride on this viral
Yeah.
wave and act like we're making a social commentary, when actually we're just taking the plot devices of a horror film, and rather than making the villain a representation of something, we've just made her a racist and make you watch her abuse black people for 90 minutes with no further comment on
Yeah.
anything about it, other than, hey, this happens to people. And it's just like, as you say, if it's just showing you what already happens, but it's not made well, and it's not giving you anything beyond that, then it turns it into a farce, and it
Mm-hmm.
turns it into a joke, so that next time you see something happen, you think about that film and you think, oh, it's all just a joke, it's not real, it's all
Mm-hmm.
just, we're all laughing at it. Like, I
Yeah.
get it. It just, you have to balance the
Mm-hmm.
side of the scales,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. And like, it's funny that it's got like the acting nomination as well, because Taryn Manning is making herself a really uncomfortable stereotype actor. Like,
Yeah.
she is brilliant in Orange is the New
Yeah.
Black, and she has such an arc in Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
Like, by the end of the whole series, you care so much about her character, but that
Yeah.
character starts off in a really horrible, racist, white hillbilly kind of.
But even when we're comparing those performances,
Oh, they're so
that
different.
was so multi-layered, and
Yeah.
like,
And it
compared to
shows.
this, was just one note all the
Yeah.
way through,
And
very awkward, like very
she's double
wooden.
nominated. I don't know if she's double, but she's in another film that was nominated.
But she was
Um,
basically playing the same character, even though they were
yeah,
completely different. It was the same performance.
it was the same film, and it does show like directors are like, you can have a good actor and you can have a bad actor, and they can be the same person. It
Yeah.
depends on the script and the director.
True.
The best actor in the world can be a terrible actor in the wrong hands, and it upsets me that these are the kind of
Me
roles
too.
she's taken.
Me too, because I looked to see if she's done anything else, thinking, oh, how did she get here? And it doesn't look like she's done much between.
Well, she was a producer on this film.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no, I don't like that.
Yeah. No.
So yeah, just a few more things about this film in terms of, like, technically it's badly made too. Like, the acting is pretty dire in some aspects and just pretty shoddy and meh in others. I would argue that maybe the central, like, the protagonists were probably a little bit more palatable, just because it was
So
just,
I really liked the kind of,
liked
I guess,
their
Karen's the
relationship.
lead actress, but the lead actress of the black couple, Amani, played by Jasmine Burke, I really liked her. I would like to see that actress in more better stuff. I found her
Yeah, I feel like they
very
had potential.
instantly
Like,
charismatic on the screen.
I
Yeah.
think in better hands they could have had more to do.
Mhm.
Some of the stuff was just like, there was a moment when, and it's just, I hate to use this term because I really struggle sometimes to voice how I do eloquently, but it was just so media studies GCSE at points that I was just like, how is this made, like, with this amount of money, with these people on this network and stuff? But like, the couple moved in, and then you had the whole thing of this Karen character watching them and be like, oh, a black couple in the neighborhood, all this blah blah blah. But there was this shot where she was looking on, and it was like diagonally on her, and it ended up being a two shot with the neighbor coming in, and it was a 2 minute shot that did not cut. And it was just them talking, but they would not look at each other. They were continuing to look directly at. Whereas usually, if you had that in a normal setup, right, you'd have the two shot of her coming in, then you'd have an over the shoulder, but keeping to the line, reverse shot, maybe go back up to the two, maybe flip back over to the couple. No. It was on the two, on that angle. That angle was made for her to come into the shot, not to shoot the rest of the scene.
Yeah.
But they shot the whole scene with that on that too. And it was as if she was standing there, like, really awkward, like, I don't know what else to do. This director hasn't told me to do anything else, so I'm just going to carry on talking, and then that person's going to leave, and there was no cut at all. And that happened multiple times throughout the film, where it was just a two, no cuts, no close-ups, nothing. And for people that aren't really like clued up on all of these names and how things are shot, like, give yourself some credit, because you'd notice whether you knew what it was supposed to be.
An
If you
episode
saw
of
that,
Neighbours is cut better than that.
literally, you'd know, you'd watch it and be like, why does this feel bad? And that's
Rest in
why,
peace,
because
Neighbours.
it's not because it's not giving you space to be in that film with these characters. That's not how film is made. So it was really, really annoying. And then there was other moments where it was just like, oh my god, like, he went to the bathroom in her house, she'd spilt like de-icer on him or whatever, and it literally pans down to this soap dispenser with a Confederate flag on, and it was just so something I would have done at media studies A level, like, to be like, look at this, the big reveal. And it's just like, everything's played, the mise en scène, everything's placed to be shot, and if it's not placed, it's not in the shot. And unless it has a close-up on it, it's not in the shot at all. Sorry, that's a lot of repeated things, but basically, they've looked at the house, they've gone, put that there because we need to do a close-up of that, put that there. And it's just like, it doesn't feel lived in. It looks like a film set. And when they're shooting
very staged.
when they're shooting it, they're like, and here's what you should look at now, and here's what you should, and anyone that doesn't know a thing about film will feel that when they watch it, even if they don't understand what it should be, or why it feels weird. And that's what a bad film feels like. And it was exasperating. It was laughable, to be honest, at points. Really, really laughable. When she was like going a bit mad and like washing her face and like shaking in the mirror trying to be crazy. I was like, this is awful. I like took a video of that, sent it to my boyfriend, and I was like, this is the kind of shit I've signed myself up for. I can't, honestly.
Yeah. I can only nod.
But I agree, like, what a shame for Taryn Manning, because I feel like it works better in this than the other film that we're going to maybe talk about a little bit more later on, because this is the character. But you're right, I think she's ended up being typecast, and I think she's probably had people tell her how amazing she was as Pennsatucky and go, oh, we can really use that. We're going to do this really cool, like, trending thing about social commentary, and like, we really want you to play like an evil character. We think it would really do like the world of good. And it's just one note all the way through. And she does this really awkward thing where she just constantly has a smirk on her face, but it's not chilling. It just looks like she can't act. It looks like
sixth form acting.
Yeah. It's one note. The worst scene was at the party when she came over and she just sat there, and it was basically a 101 in how to combat racism, how to fire back with your own words. It was like a PSHE class in what happens when someone's racist to you, how you can be an ally, how you can combat racism that directed at yourself. And it was just so awkward. Like,
you know what though? You could recut this film as like little informal like PSHA videos.
Yeah,
that would be a good use of the film.
Like after school specials.
Yeah.
Like, if you were in this situation, what would you do? Like, but anti-bullying kind of thing.
Is this racist? Yes or no?
Yeah. Not as a feature film, though. My God. No. But I think that's all I have to say about that, to be honest.
I agree.
Okay, so I think that for me would be the one that probably deserves all of its nominations.
I don't think it deserves the Cruella one
I
just
don't
because that one doesn't make sense.
understand the Cruella
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. It deserves to be
There
in
was
the
some
Razzies, but it
there was
doesn't.
some super bad dialogue in this as well, and I wish I'd. Oh wait, I think I did actually make some notes because I knew that I would regret not writing something down. Oh my god, I did. Yeah, so the Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter debate, drama school after school special. So many two shots. Also, really random, but I've written it down. Don't do a pregnancy test straight after sex; it won't work. It's just a really niche point that really annoyed me.
And why? Like, that was just such an unnecessary storyline as well, that they kept, like, bringing in and then dropping and then bringing in and then dropping.
Well, I think it's because it was all to go up to the punchline of, I don't want to bring a child into this world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we move. What have we got next?
Well, it's another musical. Dear Evan Hansen with 4 nominations. So Dear Evan Hansen is nominated for Worst Actor, Ben Platt. It's also nominated for Worst Supporting Actress. Amy Adams is a double nom year for her.
She can't catch a break.
It's nominated for Worst Screen Couple. Ben Platt and any other character who acts like Platt singing 24/7 is normal. And then I believe it is also nominated for Worst Director and Steven Chbosky. But not nominated for Worst Film.
No. Did you want it to be?
No, I just kind of assumed it would be.
I'm intrigued to hear what your opinion on this, because I know you went to see the stage musical and it wasn't what you expected.
Okay, so I love musicals. I'm a big musical fan, and I love the musical Dear Evan Hansen. Did I know going into Dear Evan Hansen that Dear Evan Hansen was not a play about a young boy coming out, but instead is a play about a young boy who accidentally fakes a friendship with a classmate that committed suicide? No, I didn't. My knowledge of Dear Evan Hansen before it came to the West End in London was that I love Ben Platt, that I love musicals, that some of the songs were written by the people that wrote the musicals from La La Land, and that a number of the songs kept coming up in my Spotify playlist. And I don't normally, if I've not seen the stage show, I don't listen to the soundtrack because I want to know the song in the proper context. But there were a couple of the songs that had just snuck in that I really enjoyed, that I had a great time listening to. So I was really excited to see it on the stage. Loved it on the stage. It is a very weird story. And it is a very strange, well-meaning musical that I believe, let me just quickly check, came out in the early 2010s. Let me just check. Which says, yeah, it does.
It feels of that time.
It does feel like the time because it's very well-meaning. So it opened in 2016. Oh no, it had the world premiere in 2015, but opened on Broadway in 2016. So it would have been being workshopped in the early 20s. I thought it was older than that.
I've been seeing those stupid posters for longer.
With the arm. But it means well. It is a really kind-hearted, well-meaning story about what it is to be lonely, about the trials and tribulations of what it is to be a teenager and mental health issues, and finding your voice in the world and finding your people in the world and supporting each other in the world. And it means well, but it means well in a very already outdated way. I really enjoyed...
Very Tumblr era.
Very Tumblr era. I really enjoyed the stage musical. I was really excited when the film was announced that Ben Platt would be reprising the role, because Ben Platt originated the role on Broadway. He is Evan Hansen.
And he played Dear so well. Have you seen that clip from RuPaul?
No.
Okay, so there's a clip in Drag Race when they're talking about Dear Evan Hansen, and Ru goes, and Ben Platt, who played Dear, and no one understands why. No one understands why. It's as if he has no idea about the musical, or he's done it on purpose, and I don't understand.
That's brilliant. But yeah, so it has really great people behind it. But so I was one of the few people that was really excited when Ben Platt was announced to be reprising his role, because yes, he is old, but I never got the chance.
I mean, he's not old, but he's not a high schooler.
I never got the chance to see Ben Platt on Broadway playing the role that he won all of these awards for and made him so like much of a big star. So I was really excited, and I'm really glad that Ben Platt was in it. I think everyone needs to shut the fuck up about Ben Platt being in it. Yeah, all
You
right.
tell
The
'em.
wig is shit. What the fuck were they doing with the hair? I don't understand the wig. His hair didn't look like that in the stage show. Whoever was in charge of hair and makeup, I'm sorry, you do a good chunk of that blame is on
Is
you.
it just hair and makeup? Because I heard there was some CGI involved,
Don't know about that,
some de-aging.
but the wig was bad. The wig was very bad.
It was bad.
Um,
It aged him more.
it did. And I remember at the time a lot of people who were fans of the musical being like, why didn't they just leave his hair like it was in the stage show? Like, what the fuck was wrong with his hair in the stage show? What is this?
Yeah, so Ben Platt's only 27,
Yeah,
but they make him look about 45 in this film.
yeah. And it's the hair. I really liked the film. Now again, I went in knowing that I liked the stage show and knowing that I liked the musical, knowing that I'm a big, big, big fan of Ben Platt, Caitlin Dever, Amy Adams, and Julianne Moore. So I like musicals, so I knew I would enjoy this film. What I would say is the aggressive editing was so fucking unnecessary. The Waving Through a Window is such a good song, and it's so emotive, and it's so much fun, and the waving in a window,
and it wasn't even cut on the beat.
no, I felt unwell. I was like, why are you attacking me?
I get what it was trying to do.
It wanted us to feel like Evan felt.
Yes, it was trying to disorientate us and make us feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Instead, it detracted from an immensely good song, and it annoys me.
So I think the problem with this film is not Ben Platt. So shut up, leave Ben Platt alone. Jesus Christ, like the man's a great singer and he originated the role. And those of us who want to live in New York and go to Broadway all the time and can't afford to, we're very pleased to see Ben Platt in the role. And I don't think it was any of the actors' fault. I think it is a really tough story to adapt, and I think it was already outdated to adapt. I think if that film had come out in 2016 or 2017, it would have been far better received, but it already felt outdated and it already felt uncomfortable because society and social media have moved on so much more in those last 5 years. What I will say is the film has a different ending. Not a different ending, but it has a bigger ending. The film, and so spoilers, the stage show ends, but Evan tells a lie and gets away with it, and the musical ends with everyone finding out this terrible, terrible lie, and that is where the musical ends.
No way.
So it ends
on a really dark note.
So it ends where he tells the parents, Connor's parents, that it was all a lie, and then there's a final scene a year later where he meets the sister in an orchard and she says she forgives him, but there is nothing in between that, so there's none of the backlash of social media, and so
you don't know what happens with him and how he feels about it,
and you don't know if the world ever found out, whereas the film added in all of those scenes about the family getting the backlash and like the family not wanting to out Evan.
The family getting the backlash was because of the letter, first of all, right? It wasn't because they found out that he lied, but it all leads up.
But that's when he in the stage show. That's when he then goes and tells them, "I lied. Yeah, none of this happened." Yeah. And there's nothing else in the show, whereas in the film they put in that whole section about the family being devastated, then about all the stuff about the family being targeted by everyone, and about him saying I want to come clean, and then being like no, because we don't want your life to be ruined too, and then that whole thing about him getting to know Connor and like that, none of that is in the show.
Right. So the stuff where he gets the video of him playing guitar and shows the family,
that's completely all included.
So they basically tried to redeem him, haven't they?
They've actually responding to criticism that we never see Evan get his comeuppance. Right. So in the film, it's like, oh, sorry, I lied, and then a year later, he's in the orchard with the sister, and she's like, it's okay, I forgive you, and people were like, you know, he never gets told off, no one ever shuns him.
His arc isn't really complete in the play.
Yeah. So I do think they tried there. I just think it wasn't the most easy adaptable stories. I think it was an adaptation that was done too late. and it's an odd as fuck story.
Yeah, it's a really weird story, but I like the story. I think it's really
Mhm,
interesting. I really like the songs in it. I think they're
mhm,
really catchy. Really enjoyed them. I think it translated physically well
mhm,
to film. I think the way it was
mhm.
shot for the most part was great. Maybe not the
Yeah,
editing. I
yeah,
liked the staging and the blocking, apart
mhm,
from the gym. But I think the whole point of the gym being really
yeah,
unchoreographed was that this is there's different kinds of musicals, right?
mhm,
There's musicals where you completely suspend your
mhm,
disbelief, and like in the Heights, there's
mhm.
moments where people are literally walking on the side of buildings and flipping upside down.
My least favorite part of In the Heights.
Yeah, I wasn't too hooked on it either. Then you have like musicals where I can't think of the top of my head where people are actually singing in real life to each
Mhm,
other. And
mhm,
then you have something in the middle, which I think is probably the most palatable for people,
mhm,
where it's people singing, which is the music is a representation of their emotion at the time.
mhm,
I'm gonna pick High School Musical
mhm,
because it's a mix of everything, right? Diegetic
mhm,
songs, but then you also have the absolutely award-winning worthy song "Stick to the Status Quo," where everyone is choreographed in this wonderful dance number in the cafeteria, showing, telling a story about
mhm.
the setting and the context. And
Yeah.
those separate conversations are all happening, but it's all happening, the song
Mhm,
serves a purpose. And I think for
yeah.
this, it was missing the big moments. Like, I
Mm,
think the songs fit well with the acting, and
mhm,
I felt like they told us what the characters were thinking. But
mhm,
then there wasn't really these songs where they told just a wider story. It was always very
mm,
much through the person's eyes, as opposed to, oh, let's, like in the Heights, it's like, yes, I can't remember what his name is, but like he tells the story about the block, and then the whole
mhm.
block comes to life, and all of this. It's
Yeah.
there's a nice mix and balance between that. Here, it's very much Evan's musical and Evan singing about this, and this.
Yeah, I
And
think.
unfortunately, whilst it might not have lended to a big song and dance number, I felt like it needed some big
Mm,
choreography. The one that I loved was when they were writing the email,
mhm.
and I loved the editing in that and the way they
Dear
brought
Evan
that to
Hansen, and
life. So that's
yeah,
actually called Dear Evan. So
yeah.
I absolutely adored the actor playing Connor. I thought he
Mhm.
was brilliant.
And he
Um,
has a much bigger role in the film than he does in the stage show, again, which is
okay,
responding to criticism of the
yeah,
show.
and I loved Caitlin Dever because I just
Mhm.
love her.
She's amazing.
Um, so I enjoyed watching this. I
Mhm.
knew nothing about well, I knew a bit about the play because I also thought it was a coming out story. Really weird.
Everyone did,
Um,
because it was really fun when the trailer came out, and like everyone was like, "Wait, this film isn't about a gay guy," and I was like,
yeah,
"Ah, welcome to my life 2 years ago, sat in
yeah.
a theatre."
So I was really looking forward to watching it. I saw all of the backlash about him being in it, and I thought it was funny. And I was like, I'm still looking forward to watching it and see what the fuss is
Mhm.
about. And I enjoyed it. I got really
Yeah.
like, I emotionally connected with it. I think
Mhm.
I would have. I think him being the main character was distracting for me because I
Mhm.
didn't have that personal connection
Yeah.
to who he was, even though I knew.
Mhm.
Like, it's like, for example, they make Hamilton in
Mhm.
like 10 years time,
Yeah.
and they do the big thing, and everyone's like, why the fuck is Lin Manuel being Hamilton again?
Yeah.
He's old and grey,
Too old. Yeah.
blah blah blah. But I'd be like, but I want to see him be
Yeah.
it. If we'd never seen
The
the
state. Yeah.
recorded stage music,
And that's how it felt for me because I've
that's, I
heard him.
imagine,
Yeah.
how it, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
fine. I just feel like there are moments, yeah. So him, the fact that you could have really had these really powerful musical moments,
So
but
what I
it's
was going to
very
say to that,
understated. It's
the
not a film
powerful,
musical. It's
the powerful moment on the stage show is "You Will Be Found," and on stage it is so
what
powerful.
song is that?
The big dramatic one, like "Even in the dark, we're standing in the
So the
light to
one that he's
carry
basically
you."
singing on the stage, and then everyone's filming him, and it's all a
Yeah,
bit social
everyone's so
media
it so
thing.
so on the stage show it starts off as him really quiet, and then all of the ensemble come out with like
So
candles
here's
or lights,
so
and it
here's where I
feels really
think
momentous.
so here's where I think it serves itself well as a film,
Mhm,
but not as a musical.
mhm,
It really, and I'm going to go full post 2005 superhero movie here and say it's really grounded in reality. It's really dark and gritty. Like, it makes sense as a film elevated by songs.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it didn't feel like a big musical.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. I think if that's what they want to do, but something felt missing for me in that aspect, so I couldn't rate it super highly.
And I would say the
for the
songs
most
felt
part,
smaller.
The songs did feel smaller, and I think,
yeah,
I don't know, it's just a mishmash of different ways of going about things that didn't really gel.
And so,
but
like,
overall, I really liked it, and I would watch it again.
Yeah, so like looking at the nominations, like, I don't understand why Ben Platt is nominated, but fine, I'll allow it because I know a lot of people. It was one unfortunate screenshot. We've all seen the screenshot from Dawson's Creek. People are allowed to have ugly faces sometimes.
Yeah.
I have an ugly face all the time. But like, I'm really pissed off about Amy Adams' nomination for this worst supporting actress. I'm sorry, that's completely unnecessary.
I don't think it's worse by any means, but I do.
No.
I understand why they've picked on her. I do. Unfortunately, she's a woman going through grief and putting on a brave face, and unfortunately, they've read that as this is bad acting.
Yeah.
It's bad acting because it's a woman who's pretending to be okay when she's not. The character is acting.
Yeah.
The character is acting badly, not the actor is acting badly.
The worst director, up and down on that one because a couple of the scenes are poorly directed. Stephen Schwartz, he did Perks of Being a Wallflower, didn't he?
Of course he did, yes, and he wrote that.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I think there are elements of it that are badly badly directed, but not all of it. And again, it's how much it's more the editing than the direction, but they do go hand in hand. So again, I'm not super wild on that
Wonder. That got quite a bit of backlash as well, didn't it?
I didn't love that one. Didn't love it. Lots of people did love it. Not for me.
I thought that it got.
Oh, that's interesting. I remember people saying it was lovely.
People will always pick on things, don't they? They always love to hate things.
The most ridiculous one is the worst on-screen couple award
for that's just lazy,
Ben Platt and any other character who acts like Platt singing 24/7 is normal. Right, number one, he isn't fucking singing 24/7. Well, no, number one though, he isn't even singing 24/7. He has lots of scenes where he isn't singing, but then number two is a fucking musical. The whole point of a musical is that people fucking sing, and that within the world of the film, no one cares that people are singing. You just hate musicals. That's not a fucking nomination. I hate westerns. That's like me being like, I want an award for worst use of guns in a movie and nominating like 50 fucking westerns.
Okay,
No, I don't like westerns.
No, I'm joking. I feel like they just have that category and they've run out because it's not relevant anymore. I feel like it's an outdated category.
That category is really bad this year. And like, there's two Pixar musicals.
Isn't there? They're all just repeats from other nominations.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be like, I don't want to spoil things later, but we're going to talk about Tom and Jerry later. I'm sorry, you cannot nominate Tom and Jerry as worst screen couple. Like,
I've just seen that, and I'm ready to riot.
Yeah, like what the actual fuck?
Riot.
So the nominations for all the worst screen couple nominations are bullshit.
But we will come on to that later.
Yes.
What have we got? So we're both fans of Dear Evan Hansen. We know it's not perfect, but we're fans of it.
I'm really pleased you're a fan of it. I wasn't sure if you would be.
No, I do like the film musical.
Next up is a film that I thought... Oh, well, there's two, actually, to get to pick. But let's do the one that I thought was a pile of absolute dog shit.
Hey.
Infinite.
Oh. So,
Starring Mark Wahlberg.
Marky Racist Mark.
Yeah.
I don't think this was that bad. Again, this was at the beginning when I was fresh-faced and ready to conquer the world of Razzies, and I was like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. What's all the fuss about? This is easy.
Well, what was all the fuss about? Let's see what it's nominated for. Worst Picture, Worst Actor in Mark Wahlberg, and Worst Actress in Sophie Cookson. Cooks. So you said you didn't find it that bad?
No, I didn't. I think the plot had potential. I thought it was an interesting concept. Basically, it is about certain people in the world having the ability to reincarnate.
Okay, but what was the actual plot? Because I watched the film and I still don't know what the fuck the plot was.
I wouldn't say a plot. I would say the beginnings of a concept, which is that certain people can reincarnate, and the ones that, well, for the most part, they all know about it. There are some people that don't, but for the most part, they know about it, and they're called infinites, and there are good infinites and bad infinites, and they both have different names. Of course, it's all lore and set up, and it's very YA.
Mm-hmm.
It's very YA, which is fine. It's not a bad thing. And basically, this guy who has no idea he's an infinite, you know, turns out to be this really important infinite, actually. And wait, let me finish.
Yeah,
And
I have so many questions.
he essentially gets awoken somehow. I can't remember how, whether they hunt him down and they're like, hey, you're this really important guy and we really need you right now because there's this bad infinite that basically wants to kill everyone in the only way that we can kill infinites, because obviously they're reincarnated, and it's basically just like this fancy bomb.
Yeah, it's a MacGuffin. He knows where the MacGuffin is, basically.
Oh my god, this is MacGuffin the movie.
Yeah, like, and that, I think so.
He's
firstly,
the only one that knows where the bomb is, because in his past life he had it and he hid it somewhere.
So Wikipedia's almost answered for me, but it really hasn't. Because my main question was Mark Wahlberg meant to be the same person that Dylan O'Brien was in the opening credits? And the answer is yes. But Dylan O'Brien died, apparently, according to the film, in 1985. Now, let me fucking tell you that sequence did not look like it was filmed in 1985.
No,
that sequence looked like it was in the future. And then also, so you're saying, right, so you're born into a new body. So 85 would make Wahlberg, what, 530? It would make him 30-something? You're trying to tell me that Mark Wahlberg is in his late 30s? Are you fucking kidding me? You're telling me that Mark Wahlberg is in the same age category as me on a survey? Go fuck yourself.
He's 50.
Like, how could he have been born in 1985?
I bet that was part of his stipulation on his
It just annoyed me so much because you had people who were clearly younger than him implying that they knew his old self. But I was like, but wait, if you were only like reincarnated as a baby and you have to live your whole life, then how the fuck has Mark Wahlberg ever known any of these people? Because he's clearly fucking up to them.
No, but he died before them as well. So whilst I agree he is not 30-something,
but they're in their same bodies. They are saying that they
No, the girl isn't.
Right, that was confusing to me then, because I felt like it was implying...
girl was the girl in the Dylan O'Brien scene as well, in the car.
Yeah, but so she didn't age.
She's not the same actress. She died.
Did she?
Yes,
that was not
different
clear.
Actress.
Not clear. This film was confusing. It didn't make sense.
And it was the couple, and they were like bound together for eternity.
Yeah, and to me, I thought that was
then. And then it was like implied at the end that because he got captured and was put onto the cloud. His soul was captured. Basically, the other thing to note is that whilst Chiwetel Ejiofor is going around with trying to find this bomb to basically completely kill infinites, because he basically, another thing to add is that the reason he wants to do this
makes no sense.
The reason he wants to I get it, and I love that I can explain this. The reason he wants to do this is because I just love lore. I love lore. This is lore.
I hate lore.
Me and my boyfriend pick films specifically now that have a lot of lore, so we can watch them and be like, let's do a lore check. This was spawned from Lord of the Rings. Anyway.
Yeah, which I hate.
There you go. So the big bad wants to kill everyone, and his motivation is because basically these reincarnated people don't automatically just remember all of their past memories. That would be crazy. They grow up as a kid normally, and then about 12, basically it's implied it's like they go through puberty, and then
they start to develop skills and remember things about how they learned these skills.
Over time, they realise they have all these banked memories, and they used to be these people, and then they remember where they said they would meet each other again, and all of this. The problem is that Chitwell's character remembers everything from the moment he's developing in the womb, which, as you can imagine, is rather stressful.
So I did once read a book where at least there was a whole section of the book, like more than one chapter, that was told from the viewpoint of the main character's baby in her womb.
Maybe Yeah, maybe I'll read that. That sounds
It's
interesting.
no, it was not a very good book. It was a very strange book.
But
Yeah,
how many lives had they led at that point?
multiple. So it was a very
So this
strange.
is very interesting.
It was a very weird concept book, but anyway, there's like a good 5 or so chapters where it's her and her twin in the womb talking, and then the twin dies, and it's very strange. It's a very strange book. Margaret Town by someone by Gabrielle Sevin. Very strange book. You should instead read her book Elsewhere, which is the best depiction of heaven I've ever read.
Oh my god! Okay. Stop the press. As soon as you were talking about that, I was like, in my head, that reminds me of Elsewhere. I loved that book.
Yeah, so good.
I really want to reread it. It's amazing.
Lovely.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Same author, much weirder.
Okay.
Side note, book time.
And that's not very often. I don't really read books anymore. But no,
I
loved that.
I read them both well.
I read that in secondary school and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So Chiswell Edgefor is struggling in the he every time he's born he remembers every life that he's led. So essentially like these people, like he's super suffering and he has no way out. So the only way that he can officially like get out is if he basically lets off this version of an atomic bomb, pretty much, to destroy
that would stop all the ability.
That would stop everything.
But he also figured out how to transfer souls to memory sticks.
Yes, this is what I'm getting into. So his way of, because obviously you're listening to this podcast by saying, well, Daisy, like, how does he stop people? Because surely if he kills them, they're just reincarnated. Well. You're very clever, because he has a way around that. He has a super gun that actually basically entraps someone's soul onto a memory stick, and then he puts it in a wall of little drawers or lockers or something.
But like they looked like they were made out of jade, so they were nice drawers. They were fancy drawers.
It looked like a great feature wall.
And someone had gone to the effort of labelling them all, and I do love a good label.
It's true, so maybe he has a little chat with each of them. Like,
yeah.
You know. So, yes, that's kind of the interesting things I would say about the concept. The execution is a Mark Wahlberg action film. Like, highlight being him flying onto the wing of a moving aeroplane on a motorbike off a cliff.
Oh my god, what? Why? How? What? Why is this film so stupid?
That jumps the shark for me, for sure. Like, wait, in a film about reincarnated people, it really jumped the shark when he flew onto the aeroplane.
I saw Uncharted, another Mark Wahlberg action film, which is completely nonsensical. The plot doesn't make any sense. It takes so many leaps of logic, but Infinite makes Uncharted look like a Hitchcock film.
Jesus.
I don't know, we mentioned Hitchcock earlier, but a very serious film made by, because Uncharted is stupid, but like I had fun at the cinema. I ate a load of popcorn. I drank a ton of fizzy drinks. It got me out of the house. I was like, it was enjoyable. Yeah, what's his face? Spider-Man. Tom Holland.
He's very charming all over the place.
Yeah, he was, and he's very charming when he Tom Holland's. And I liked the lead actress, and they went to some pretty places in Europe. So I was like, she is a girl who I can't remember her name, but she is in The Wilds, the Amazon TV show, and I really like her in that. No. Really good show. Okay. Weird accent though. But yeah, like Uncharted is stupid as fuck. Infinite takes it to like a whole new plane of stupid existence.
So for me, I enjoyed the concept. I wanted to go down more of that route than just because what I feel like they've done, which happens all the time with films like this, which annoy me, is there's this really cool world building that they could use, and then they don't go anywhere with that, the philosophy side of it, and they just go, here's a reason for an action star to be chasing something, running away from something, or surviving death. And you know what? Mark Wahlberg got to go into another cryo chamber, which we know that he loves. So good for him. We also had what's his name? Pimento from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah. And it made me sad because I love him and I thought he was terrible in this.
I think he was just Jasoning all over the place.
Nah, he's Jasoned much better in other places.
Derek.
This film needed to. This was a film made by Derek. No, This is the kind of fucking shit film Derek would have made.
What, like an
Version 1
AI?
Derek.
It's like if an AI was fed
Yeah,
a bunch
that's what
of
it feels
YA
like.
novels and
Yeah.
then Mark Wahlberg fronted action films, this is what would come out. Basically, my
Absolutely.
review is that I thought it was a really interesting concept. I don't think it was badly shot compared to something like Karen. Like, it's made by Hollywood, like it has a standard, but it doesn't mean that it's particularly interesting. But yeah, I just felt like it was MacGuffin the movie.
And it's funny that you said that, because that is why I dislike it more. Because for me, a film like, not even Karen, but some of the Bruce Willis films that we're going to talk about later, this
You're
film...
not telling me you preferred the Bruce Willis
I
films
do,
to this.
I did. Because this film had money and budgets and script supervisors and time and like all that, and it makes no sense. It is so convoluted, and and the only times it makes sense is when it's really boring, and the times that it's
How many
exciting.
films had you watched for Razzies by the time you watched this?
This was mid to end.
Okay, so this was top for me, so I feel like that might have skewed things a little bit.
I'd watched at least 4 or 5 Bruce Willis films by the time I watched this one.
Oh no, I was not in those weeds at that point.
No, I was, and on like visually, yes, this is a better film than those films, but it's still shit, and it offends me more because you have a big budget, and big actors, and you should do better. The Bruce Willis films are doing a thing that they are doing on their own time, which we will talk about when we get there. They're doing their stuff in a way. This film is taking money from films that could be being made, like National Treasure,
because it's like they're embarrassed about these films and they just dump them on streaming, and it's just like, why are you even making them? Like, what's the point?
Because they test really badly, and so that's what you can do. Like back in the day, because you used to have Dumpuary. They used to have all the films that they wanted to dump. They put out in January and February, but now they just put them on streaming, and it's content. It's content farming.
I think this is a great idea and it's going to sell really well, and they make it, and then they go, oh, people don't like it, let's just dump it on streaming. Like, it's no wonder this business like spends millions of billions of dollars. Like,
yeah, no, because like it's Dumpuary doesn't exist anymore, because now you just dump everything on streaming and bury it, and it's a thing to pay. We had a new film out this week, and the people that will watch whatever new film comes out will watch it, and the people that don't care don't care. And the worst offence that I only realised as we were talking, which I mentioned at the top of when we started talking about this, there's no fucking way in hell that Mark Wahlberg can ever pull off playing a 37. You lot are mad about Ben Platt trying to pull off playing a 16-year-old. I'm sorry, who the fuck told Mark Wahlberg he could play 37? That is a fucking joke. Fuming.
Get back in your cryo chamber and try again.
I hated it. I hated everything about it. I was really mad.
I was pretty indifferent to it, to be honest, until the motorbike thing.
I think if I had to pick which of the 22 films I disliked the most, this would be in the top 3.
Stop it! You're being silly now.
I'm not. No, I just didn't like it.
I'm not having that. Right, what have we got next?
The last film.
Did we speak about the main? We didn't speak about the main actress. She was fine.
Yeah, she's fine. I think she was doing what she was doing. Yeah.
She turned up. She read the script. She acted. Fine. Moving on.
I think I'm going to take that back. I don't think she acted it very well, but I don't think the problem was her acting. I think the problem was her lack of character and poor script.
Agreed.
Yeah. So the other film that had 3 nominations is Bugs Bunny in Space Jam: A New Legacy, which annoyingly we spoke about the last time we recorded on an episode that hasn't come out yet. So in an episode that will come out in a month or 2, you will hear both me and Daisy go, yeah, no, I didn't see the new Space Jam, not going to bother, looks shit, don't want to spend my time watching that. And yet,
lo and behold,
not a week, we had to watch it. So that'll be fun for me to edit around that and try and make it not sound like we're just lying. And that's what happens when you record out of order, kids.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
So what have we got?
Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Yeah, worst picture.
Couple one again.
Worst actor, LeBron James. How many times am I going to do that today? And then worst screen combo, LeBron James, and any other Warner cartoon character, or Time Warner product he dribbles on. I'm not going to lie, that's quite a good phrasing. I'll give them kudos for that. I watched this when after a really, really long day at work,
Mhm.
and it's exactly what I needed. Like, I was just like, I want to just turn my brain off and watch some cartoon characters play basketball, and that's what I got.
Yeah.
And just to lay the groundwork, I unironically love Space Jam. It is a huge
Mhm.
part of my childhood,
Mhm.
and I've rewatched it. And no, it's not a good film. It's not a good
Mhm.
film. Get off your fucking high horse. No
It
one
was never
like
a good film.
it was never a good film. Like, if you
Mm-mm.
want to watch a good film, go watch something else. Watch
Who Framed
Hitchcock,
Roger
whatever.
Rabbit? People like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I've
Who
never seen
Framed
it,
Roger
but people
Rabbit
seem to think that's
is
pretty good.
no.
Yeah.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of the best films ever made.
There we go.
Hands down.
There we go. There we go.
Hands
That's a very
down.
good comparison. Like, you want to watch good animated?
Yes.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Off you go.
Because that is a crafted film
Yeah.
that isn't made to sell Michael Jordans and Looney Tunes merch. Space Jam was made to sell Jordans and Looney Tunes merch. Like, it's just a bit of fun. It's right. If Martin Scorsese was here, do you know what he would say? It's a theme park of a ride. Have a little fun. Let your hair down. Don't worry about it. Right? This is the same thing again,
I
except
really
now.
wish we were recording video because that would have been really fun because you
mean,
were so serious.
I'm serious about this. Lo and behold, we are in the moment of IP saturation and ringing, so to speak. And yeah, we shouldn't have brought it back. We shouldn't have done it where we're going to cram every IP into it because we think that that's what people want. But look, they did it. I wasn't offended by it. I actually think the IP could have been a lot worse. They basically just brought the IP on as the basketball audience, and it was all in the background, and it was all very inferred about who these people were. And, you see really, really bizarrely the crew from A Clockwork Orange. It's the one that sticks in my head.
Thank you. I have a point about that in a minute.
You see who else? Who else do you see? Can't remember.
I saw Dino and the Flintstones, and I saw the Jetsons. Did you not see Dino?
No,
Dino was massive.
You see like White Walkers and things like that.
Scooby Doo. And I was only looking for the Hanna-Barbera people.
Yeah.
We all know by now. I was looking for Hanna-Barbera,
which were more like prominent. But then you'd have things that maybe were just like they kind of look like extras, but you knew
who they were. Yeah,
you knew the branding.
Yeah, there were lots of like Fear the Walking Dead. There were lots of.
Yeah, I don't think they were shoehorned in. I think they were used in an appropriate moment. But I think the intention was. We all know what the intention was, and I'm kind of glad that they didn't push it more because I think it would have flopped even worse.
Yeah.
I don't, it suffers from being like if we're going to assume that everyone just genuinely doesn't think Space Jam's a terrible film and just likes it for what it is or appreciates it for what it is, doesn't mean we should then just redo a new version 20 years later just because people like it then, and that's obviously a problem that's plaguing the industry at the moment. And the problem is that whilst it does some things where I go, oh no, they've handled that quite well, I hear like digitization, like what's the setup, why is he in this world? I thought it was quite interesting having the algorithm then taking him into the metaverse, so to speak. I thought that was quite smart. I actually think that's quite timely. That won't be dated too much because it's a big moment in our sort of digital timeline. But then there's other moments where it's just like, oh, you've made the traditional 2D cartoon characters 3D. No one wants that kind of animation. Like, they want to see their cartoon characters how they were originally drawn.
They want to see their friends.
And I just, who is that appealing to? Because you're bringing them into this style of animation that actually isn't the best it can be. It's cheap. So why update it at all? Like, keep it classic. And it's little things like that where it's just like a bit of a bad taste in your mouth. Like, but it's fine. It's bright. It's colourful. My 5-year-old brain enjoyed it. LeBron James isn't, he's there. He's a basketball star. Like, he did his best. Like, he's not an actor, right? So, like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't necessarily have said, I think Michael Jordan was better, but I wouldn't have said, like, give him an Oscar or anything. I really liked the family dynamic that they had. I really liked the family message of, the son doesn't want to play basketball. He wants to code games. And I thought that was a really nice what's the word, modern sort of story for families to have. Like if you were taking you were going on a family outing, and that's quite a nice message brought in a really
Oh my god,
modern
like
way.
how many times in the last month have I complained about my family trying to force me to go and watch the rugby with them when I just want to stay at home and watch a movie or read a book? Like I feel that. I vibe
and I
that.
just feel like that could have easily been felt really dated if the people who are making it weren't up to speed with what kids were interested in. I think the fact that the kid codes and creates games I was really surprised. Like I really thought that was a really smart way of telling this story, and I really liked the father-son relationship and the fact that they had them facing off, and it was, you know, this AI that kind of pitted them against each other and stuff. I thought all of that was quite fun. Yeah, I just think it's plagued by the fact that not only is it bringing back an old IP, it's bringing back an old IP that was never like a good film to begin with. It was just fun. So it kind of just leaves a bad taste in my mouth by saying, oh, great, you've monetized, the monetized thing of the time, but like that's kind of like protected by nostalgia now. Bringing it back is just such an in-your-face money grab that I just don't even know. It's just pretty shameless, and they probably were pretty shameless about it. So do you know what I mean?
I like all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, unfortunately, while you were speaking, you were only reminding me of the things that I didn't like.
That's
And
fair.
I
I
think
think I
that's
was
the
focusing on the things that I didn't like because there's more to say about that.
Well, I think, no, you just reminded me of a few things that I'd forgotten about,
Oh.
because I think the problem with this film, and it's not even with the film, the reason for this film's backlash is people couldn't see the good because of the bad. Because the bad stuff is tacky and the bad stuff is poorly done, people couldn't see the good behind it. So I only remembered
People
the
would
good
never
when we were...
have known that nice heart of the story because they'd be
Yeah.
like, why the hell am I seeing a Space Jam sequel?
Yeah, because I only remembered enjoying it until you started speaking, and then it started reminding me. So, like,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's no, it's good. It's giving me a great view of the film, because I too really enjoyed the sports versus gaming, because I fucking hate sports. If you didn't know the world, but then it reminded me of how ridiculous and completely unnecessary the opening scene was, where they basically give him a villain origin story that he once played a Game Boy and lost a basketball match, and therefore since that day has always hated games.
Yeah,
and like that's completely unnecessary, so stupid. But like, take that out. That's
I
fine.
kind of saw it as he was told to focus on basketball.
It just made me chuckle that they were making it his villain origin story was the time that a game cost him a title when he was a kid.
I think this is the problem with critiquing family films though, right? Obviously we've got the Pixars, we've got the Disneys, we've got the Studio Ghibli's and stuff, where we're like, family films are films, there's nothing family about them, they're just suitable for children. And they're universal stories. I think they dumb down, you know, when it comes to films like this, there's a story there that it feels dumbed down when actually it doesn't need to be. Like, I think children who this is aimed for will either understand the nuances of, oh, he really wanted to focus and now he only thinks about basketball, but his son can do both or neither or whatever. The younger kids just want to see Bugs Bunny.
The thing that the section that I think most people hated, which I loved and hated in equal measure, because it was like all the different sections of my brain were firing, is the whole middle montage where they're getting together the team and they go to all the different lands, and then they're in the animated Batman land, and then they're in the Mad Max land, and then they're in a different land.
I completely forgot about that. And there's me going, oh, they really used all the IP quite subtly. No, they didn't.
It is the most unsubtle thing in the world. So I was really like at war with every emotion in my brain, because adult 30-something critic Claire was like, what a fucking cash grab. Then just like grown up Claire was like, who is this film aimed at? Because do children understand what Mad Max is? And are they understanding this reference? And why is Bugs Bunny suddenly in Mad Max? And is this suitable for children? And then the 12 or 13-year-old me that was obsessed with media, with film, with IP, with labels, with designers, with brands, who grew up poor in shitty Bexley Heath and just wanted to go and live in America and New York and see all the things and have all the things. oh my god, that person inside of me, her mind was so happy
Uh-huh.
because I love crossovers and I love when I get references and I love when I see a thing that shouldn't be in a thing and it's so cute and it's so fun. And yeah, the Leonardo DiCaprio
I
meme.
just did the Leo snap.
Like, I love that as a little kid. Like, that was the stuff that used to give me so much joy as a child. That whole section, yeah, we're fucking cynical, miserable, shitty adults that have lived through a pandemic, and the world is shit, and petrol is really expensive. But, like, just, watching Daffy Duck trying to be Batman was really cute and really fun, and I
Listen,
would like.
yeah, go on.
I'd like a plush toy of Daffy Duck dressed as Batman. I'd
I,
really enjoy that.
I think we need to get our head out of our asses here because, yes, we know that it's a money cash grab, but at the end of the day, this industry is built to entertain us, but it's also built to make money. Those things can happen at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, they make things that entertain us, therefore we spend our money, and blah blah blah. If if people really didn't like that, they wouldn't keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's my theory. We all like it, we just don't like it all the time. That's different.
And that's it, because we've been spoiled as adults now. Like, we are spoiled because everything's a metaverse and everything's a multiverse, and people like are ping ponging into each other's shows and into each other's
The
movies and into
problem
each other's
is
comic books.
now, which happens with
Yeah.
businesses from the beginning of time, something performs well, they
Mm.
double down, they
Yeah.
triple down, they quadruple down, and then consumers get bored of it, they move on to the next thing. That's what happens.
But like the teenage, I'm literally wearing a McDonald's and Donald Duck mashup t-shirt right now because I like things that take two things and mash them together. So like, I liked that bit of the movie, even though it was utterly ridiculous. And like I said, the mid-30s critic brain was like, this is ridiculous.
No, but let's remember, if we can't enjoy Space Jam,
what else can you enjoy?
True. That connects basketball stars with Warner Brothers properties for no reason whatsoever, then what can we enjoy?
Yeah.
Because we're calling a spade a spade. If you're having a go at Space Jam for being a cash grab, which I'm pretty sure I did about 5 seconds ago, then it's just like, yeah, not Pop Kettle Black. Just like, well, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. That's where it came from.
My last Space Jam point was just a sad negative one, though. In that, what really irked me was during the basketball game where they had all the characters around the side, around the court. It was like so bad. They were clearly actors that had come in and like done their own makeup and bought their own costumes. It was like being at Comic-Con and a load of people in like mid cosplay, and like some of them worked because some of them weren't big IP characters like the zombies and stuff like that. But like, you had the Mask and you had the Joker and you had like really big kind of things there that were clearly like a lad in a cosplay outfit, and it was so distracting and so weird when they had earlier taken them like to those worlds and done them properly. And like, I was loving, as like a Hanna-Barbera fan and a cartoon fan, I was loving picking out, oh my god, I can see Dino, and oh my god, I can see the Mystery Machine, and all of these things. It would have been better if they could have brought some of those cartoons to the forefront, but animation is expensive, so I get why they didn't. They were trying to save money, so that makes sense. But yeah, that was my big negative. That it was very clearly just a bunch of cosplayers having a laugh.
Completely fair. Fair. Should we pop a pin in the worst offenders now then? Because I think, as we did last time, it would be good to kind of go through each of the categories, mention a few of the other sort of one-off nominations that we haven't discussed, and kind of decide who we think. But I think before we do that, we have to pay attention and regard and pure disdain, in my opinion, to the worst offender of them all, who had their own category this year because they appeared in 8 different films in 2021. Forgot what year it was then. And you might think, Daisy, wow, 8 films! What a marvel! What a leader in there. craft, to be committing themselves to the screen. And you know what? If you heard the name of who it is, you'd probably be like, oh, wow. But trust me, if you have seen these films, you will know that there's a reason that there's 8 of them, and how he managed to churn them out so quickly. So the nominated category is dedicated to none other than die-hard lead Mr. Bruce Willis. If you don't know, as I've just mentioned, he has kind of gone on to a bit of a certain new avenue with his career, where he's decided to opt for a lot of straight to on-demand films. And I'm not sure when this trend began, but what we do know is in the year 2021, he starred in a total of 8. And that's why Razzies have given him his whole category to have nominations for the worst performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021 movie. So, with 22 Razzie films to discuss, we wanted to go super in depth and give everything the time that it deserved, or didn't deserve. So we've decided to cut this episode in 2, give you guys a bit of breathing room to enjoy the episodes properly. So we're going to stop this one here and pick up in the next episode, where we continue to talk about this year's Razzie nominated films.